In this training session, we're going to kind of have an organic Q&A with some young distributors, and we're going to be talking about warm markets and some of the fears people feel when they have to approach that. John?
Well, everybody has the same pitfalls, I feel, when they start calling their warm market. And we're going to try to get you through some of these pitfalls. I think it's the same 4 or 5 fears for everybody with their warm market.
It really is.
We're going to have some feedback from the audience here, because I think one of the biggest errors is just not getting through your warm market effectively, and then you call 10 or 15 of them, and then you end up quitting. And that's the problem with network marketing, is that people just don't hang in there long enough for those first 10 or 15 calls. So,
what are some of y'all's thoughts about this and how you've had to approach it so far?
Well, my big question is that I'm afraid that when people, if I don't do it right, and maybe I don't, I don't want to say pitch, but whatever, I don't present it well, and I totally botch it, and it's one of my friends or something, they're going to think, oh my gosh, Clay's wrapped up in a Ponzi pyramid scheme or something, and they're going to go and tell all my friends, and I'm going to be embarrassed, and they're going to look down at me behind my back, talk about me. It's an embarrassing situation. I want to avoid that.
One of the things that will help all of us to do that is to do when John shared that phone call earlier with his good friend, who was a longtime friend. He actually planned that conversation. It's very important that you think about how you're going to approach each person. You fail when you don't plan. That's as simple as that. And in your warm market, you've got to prepare exactly how you're going to approach that person to talk about the form, how you talk about their family, their occupation or their non-occupation, and you talk about what they like to do in a natural, normal way with the goal. You're presenting them with an opportunity that could turn their life around. That's a very important thing, don't you think, John?
Yeah, and I think if you're afraid of, the words you use, blowing it, the first 5 or 10 people that you call, you say, hey, look, I don't know much about this business. I'm getting your opinion about it anyway, and I think that sets it up for him that maybe they won't, in your mind or in their mind, you won't be blowing it. You're just starting out this business, and so you're not going to be perfect. And I think people will understand and appreciate that.
I think that's right. Your enthusiasm will go a long way when you're new in this business. You don't have to tell them everything, as we saw. That can really be a problem. You're trying to have an opportunity to show them the entire business in such a way that they see what you've seen about this opportunity. Anyone else?
My question is regarding my fear of rejection. What's the best way to go about approaching someone, in the mindset of, hey, I'm probably going to get some no's, and I don't want to get my confidence, shot down and quit after I talk to 10 people or so.
Right. Remember, however you want to look at this business, and I think John will agree, it's really a numbers game. If you present a perfect opportunity to 10 people and 10 people turn you down, you know what? Those were not the 10 people that you need to build this business. It's as simple as that. That just simply means that the next 10 you present it to, you might find 2 or 3 that are the people that are going to help you and them generate income, passive income, in the future, 2 to 3 years down the line, that gives you an opportunity in your life that right now you may not have, particularly in the way the economy is flowing right now.
Another great thing about your warm market is that, let's say you plow through the first 20 people on your list and you only get 1. So you think you've blown 19. Well, 6 months down the road, you're going to have a lot more moxie. And you'll be able to just go right back to the front of your list and call those people again. And they're going to, of course, you're not going to bring it up when you call them, but most of them are going to be curious. They're going to, maybe you lead them into it, but they're going to ask you how your business is doing.
It's interesting. It's a great point, John. As a founding distributor, I was at the very, very beginning of this when we had absolutely nothing. You guys have got some awesome tools that have come to you in the last 2 or 3 days alone. In the past, we were, as it were, digging with our hands, digging holes with our hands. I invited a gentleman to one of the very first presentations that the CEO of this company presented. He didn't show up. He's a very good friend. Didn't call me back for weeks, wouldn't return my phone call. We go by about 3.5 months, I call him back. He returns my phone call. You want to know why he called me back? He probably thought I wasn't doing that, whatever it was again. He thought, oh, he's finished with that. He asked me what I was doing. I told him exactly what I was doing. He's known me for 20 years. I told him what I was doing, why I was doing it, he had missed the opportunity. I told him what my first check was. He was dumbfounded. I'll have an opportunity at some point for that person to hear this opportunity, but it's going to be on my time. I don't need that person. I'm not selling it to that person. Remember, you are presenting something that could be an opportunity where a person can earn a significant income in their life to meet goals they have. Don't you agree that this is more of an opportunity than anything else?
Yeah, and it's something I think the longer you're in the business and people realize that you're still in the business and you have success, they're more than likely going to take a look that second time around.
Yeah.
My question was about when I'm approaching older, successful peers about it. I sometimes feel intimidated. What is the best way to approach them about the opportunity?
Talking about feeling intimidation of approaching older peers. What do you think is one of the best ways to approach older peers with some of the techniques that we've talked about or we'll talk about in the future?
Yeah, and that's I can imagine. How old are you?
19.
Wow, okay, so probably just about everybody you're going to call is going to be
Older.
someone that you look up to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So your biggest fear, I would imagine, is that they're not even going to give you the time of day. You've got to approach it from the standpoint of that you are excited about a new business and you really, really, really value their opinion, and you would just like to sit down with them, show them this business, let them tell you, maybe is this business not what I should be doing? You're recruiting them, but they don't think that you're recruiting them. And if you show them business from beginning to end, they're probably going to see it. And they may not get in right then and there. They might watch you and see how you're doing, but they will really respect that.
That's a great way. And to tag in on that, another way to do that would be as you approach that person and you're asking for their opportunity, remember, you're not alone in this business. The folks who brought you into this business, folks who are up from them, down from them, all around from them, we consider ourselves a team. So this is an aspect where we're all working together. So in this situation, it might be best when you go present this to this fellow, you're presenting it to him, truly, I need your opinion about this opportunity. Okay, you go present it in that way. He may be very critical about it. You then talk to him about somebody in the business who's already being very successful. And you say, boy, I'd love to have you bounce your ideas off this gentleman A over, let's say, this friend of mine that showed me the business opportunity. And you present that individual as somebody who has been successful, and they are, and they've done the business. That way you set up another meeting. So that person may then get to go and meet with somebody who is more one of his peers, even somebody he knows by reputation, and they're involved in it, and they're excited for you as well in themselves. That infection can sometimes, and that encouragement, excitement, can rub off on another individual.
That's a good point.
Most of the time, I look at people and then I automatically assume that they're just, they wouldn't be interested. They don't need it, and I turn my back to them real quickly. Am I totally wrong in doing so?
Yes, because, and I see your point, because there's some psychology that's kind of deeply seated there, in that, if you don't show the business to someone, that they're not going to get in. But that's your biggest fear. You think, well, I'm just wasting my time with this person. Well, you are if you don't show it to them, because they're never going to get in. And you know what? 6 months down the road, you're going to see that person. They're going to go, hey, I'm in Sozo. I'm in this opportunity. So basically, you can't live someone else's dream. You can't prejudge, and you can't justify to them yourself that you can't call.
That's a great point. And we live in a crazy time. What you may think you know about some person and how successful they may be, you're looking at a changing world right now. I mean, there is not an industry that is not in complete and total upheaval right now. I mean, there's 175,000 people a week looking at home-based businesses. That's an overwhelming number of people that are actively looking. How many are considering it and haven't even begun to fall into that statistic? Why? Because their wife lost their job, because they've got 3 kids in college. You don't know what's going on with someone's finances. This country is just overripe, as it were, with debt. You don't know what that is doing to that person's stress levels, that person's life. You have no idea what their boss is like, who they're working for, how their career's going. So you're simply prejudging somebody and you're not giving them an opportunity, somebody you've already judged to be an 8, 9, or a 10, somebody who has integrity, you respect, somebody who has great centers of influence. Look, those are the people you want to talk to. You really do. Those are the ones you want to make this presentation. So don't prejudge those kind of people. Get good at yourself. In other words, figure out how you can make this presentation to somebody in such a way that they see this as a global business opportunity. Thank you.